Mafia, let's go! Divisional round of the playoffs in the books. The undersized, small, not fast enough Bills defense made it happen. 27-25, baby. Bills are moving on to the AFC Championship game to take on Mahomes and their squad again for the fourth time. I was almost going to say 4 years in a row, but we had that Bengals mix-up in there too. So, hey, can the Bills get it done this time? We're going to find out next week. I believe so. I know you believe so. I know you're here tuned into the DFL podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Take a minute to do so. Join in. We're talking about doing some live episodes coming up at some point. Of course, maybe that was just our jubilation or our excitement last night, wanting to hop on the horn right away. But unfortunately, we couldn't. We waited till today. Hope you're still excited. Hope you're still tuned in. Let's move it on over to the conversation I just had with Coach Snakes and Dr. Chucky Calzones. Let's go! I remember
Hey, listen, a great example, right, of when your number's called being ready.
DFL Football 25.
Good morning, dickhead!
Oh, I can take it today, Chucky.
Yeah,
Good morning,
no insulted feelings here.
Yeah, good morning.
All right.
Happy Victory Monday, boys.
Victory Monday.
You have it.
Cheers
Yeah,
to
you got
that, man. Let's go.
You got it.
Cheers to
Cheers.
that.
You got it. So
listen, catching a bunch of national BS about the game, talking about how mostly the Ravens lost it more so than the Bills won. I just want to ask you I kind of doubt we're going to hear any of that on this show, but if you agree, and if not, what were your guys' ideas on the keys to the victory, man? How did the Bills get this done? How do they stop Henry? That's one big question too. So
go ahead, Tommy.
How did
you
it?
Go first, man.
all right, because mine's going to be quick, actually.
All right.
That's rare.
The three turnovers. The three turnovers, they only give the Bills defense for one. And that was the one that Bernard did. He did that P-punch and recovered the fumble.
What a play, man.
Yeah, which was good. But Lamar Jackson doesn't overthrow that receiver if he had one more second to lock in his focus. He didn't have that second because Milano was coming down on him.
Man.
And he's seen him coming straight at him, and he said, hell, I'm just going to get rid of this ball. I don't care what anybody tells me. So, okay, he overthrows his target, but he's doing it because Milano's in his face. All right? And as far as his fumble, the ball's wet and slick, and you can use all those excuses you want. But if it wasn't for Von Miller coming in on him, along with
Hamlin.
what's his name? Hamlin,
Yeah.
right? He never would have dropped that ball. But he was trying to get away from Hamlin, did not want to go in the direction Von Miller was coming, and the ball slid out of his hand, and that was a fumble caused by those two players. It wasn't because Lamar had a bad day.
Yeah.
All right? And as
How about
far
that run
as
back by Von, too? I mean, I
Right.
heard him. I think it was Romo said
Right.
he hasn't run that fast since the combine. I found that hilarious.
right. And Nance was probably right. But and then as far as stuffing up Henry in the first half, okay, that was pure determination on the Bills' defensive line. Their defensive line was sick and tired of hearing how they're too small, not fast enough, not good enough. They can't stop this powerhouse Baltimore, right? They did. They made a statement in that first half. Now, in the second half, was Baltimore looking like they were coming back? But I'll be honest with you. Buffalo never gave me the impression like, we're not going to win this game. We're going to lose it. They never had that. They never had that look on their face. McDermott didn't have it. The offense didn't have it. And the defense was like, they were playing their bend, don't break. All right, you did end up scoring, Okay, but even when that happened, they still had that confidence on the offense. Like, well, we're going to get the ball back, and even if it's a field goal,
all right.
we're going to.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
Tom.
all I have to say.
That's coach's idea of grief. But you're right, man. And McDermott had his boys ready, man. And I just say before we just want to shoot this over to Chuck, but just saying the only two stats the Bills led in was the takeaways and time of possession by like 4 minutes, 4 minutes. And that's, yeah, the takeaways, obviously, that's what led to the victory. But go ahead, Chuck. What do you think? What do you think it was, man?
Well, so first your question of like, was it more so the Bills won or the Ravens blew it? What I'm going to say is, why can't it be both? Honestly, man.
A little bit of both, yeah.
So the Bills, everything around, man, was fantastic. Okay, sure, the defense could have tightened up a little bit more, but I think that was their strategy, right? That was McDermott's strategy, man. We were talking about, several episodes ago, like a rope-a-dope strategy. I'm not saying that that's what happened today, but yeah, shut down Henry, hold him under 100 yards, under 20 carries. I think there was a stat I heard, was reading about today, that every game this year that Henry was under 20 carries, the Ravens lost the game. Okay, so that's what they were focusing on, man. It worked. At the same time, though, so this is a both and, man. The Bills had a great strategy. They did it. Like, they fulfilled the strategy that they had, but also this is a both and, man. Lamar had a bad game, and they blew it, man. The Ravens lost it. Like, they had some great plays, man. The key to the victory. So this is, the answer to your other question, Will, was the turnovers, man. That's what did it. Mm-hmm. That's what did it. The Bills have won the turnover battle for 21 straight games, man. If that ain't a record, that's got to be getting pretty close, man. I got to look that up. During one of our breaks here. So I'm saying it's both. Yeah, sure. Man. I'm saying both.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say it's not, because I feel that I give McDermott a lot of the credit for it, and not just for having that team ready to roll, man, ready to pounce. And
just Bobby.
Yeah, exactly. And this though is one thing I see is, like, I think the defense is, that you go bulletin board material, right? Hearing that all week long of being undersized and being, how we're just basically going to get bullied by Baltimore. Obviously that plays a lot into the mental state, but it's about having the right game plan. And what the Bills really did, man, is they changed up their defense a lot. I think that was a big key, man. They played a lot less zone than they usually do, and they blitzed a lot more than they usually do. And I think it really rattled Lamar. Now then, like Chucky's saying, with both and, I think Lamar was a little bit in his head, man. Especially, that first pick was just, like you said, the pressure from Milano forced, kind of clouded his idea of what that angle was going to be, I guess, and he just overshoots him. But like that fumble, that's just like, that's earlier, like that's almost like early Josh Allen type of, recklessness, kind of like trying to make too much happen. Like when when Josh was taking that run when we ended up settling for the field goal, which in years past might have been looked at as too conservative, but I think was the right call. But when Josh tried to take that run from the shotgun, which is the call I didn't like, I think they should have just kept him under center and tried to plow him forward twice, like Romo was pretty much saying. You do that, you're probably going to get 1 yard, and you're in. But regardless, when Allen did that, you turned around and you could see he had a glimmer of that old Josh, like he was going to almost toss that ball back to Cook or something, and that's how you lose games right there, man. Imagine a fumble recovery right there, picked up and taken all the way back for the Ravens, would have been the entire game probably, but it's Josh settling down like that in that moment, and I think Lamar still is in his head a little bit, and I want to give Lamar flowers and his credit, though, man. The guy's a hell of a player. He probably is going to, I think he did probably get the MVP, because it's what media is doing right now, I think, is a lot of kind of backpedaling, trying to like just boast up so that they don't look completely nuts when Lamar has the MVP and just lost. But I don't know. I think Lamar played a great game. Not a great game, really. He didn't play the greatest game. He's not the reason they lost 100%. I think Mark Andrews is going to put a lot of that on himself. But then they're saying that a lot are saying that if Andrews hangs onto that ball, that we go into overtime and that they probably would have won. I wouldn't argue that necessarily just because we haven't won yet in overtime in the Josh Allen era. Kind of want to see it happen just to get that monkey off the back. But, yeah, let's not talk about that. So any other insights, though, on what you think the strategy was going into the game, man, or did it all just kind of unfold in the way it played on the field? Do you think it was more strategy or just like the turnovers? Like two of those weren't, they're not, they're being in the right place at the right time, they're, but that's strategy, right? Crowding around, being always going toward the ball.
What are you asking in strategy? The turnovers?
Well, yeah, I'm saying, like, do you think it was more the strategy or just how the game played out that led to the win overall? But you guys can discuss that for a second while I look up a couple things here, man, because I want to talk about some of the PFN metrics, man. Or not metrics, the stats.
So I looked up that stat, man. 21 straight games where the Bills won the turnover margin of the game. So that ties the 1952-53 Rams for the longest streak since turnovers became an official stat in 1933. Good Lord. That is awesome, man. Wow. To answer your question, man, it's both. It's design.
It's both, yeah.
That I think that's the way that the McDermott's and Babbich's D is set up this year, is to try to take advantage of turnovers, punch it out, intercept it as much as you can. But also, I think that something worked this year, man. Somebody got in Josh's head to not turn the ball over, and finally, man, he's listening. I think maybe that's how he thought he would win the MVP, is if he. Yeah. Got the turnovers to under 10 on the year. The Bills haven't fumbled the ball or lost a fumble since week 4, the Ravens game, man. That's crazy. Yeah. So so there's a little bit of pause though, man. I'm a little bit worried that like our luck is going to run out,
Yeah, because some of that's definitely luck, man. It's wild that you brought up that you found that, because I pulled up the PFN stats, and the first thing that was sent over this morning is the first stats. The Bills finished the game with 3+ turnover margin, marking their 21st consecutive game with an even or positive turnover margin. This ties Buffalo with the 1952-53 Rams for the longest streak in NFL history. Yeah, that's wild. That's the first matchup that comes up PFN too. But yeah, that's pretty incredible, man. So also, I mean, that's Jackson committing multiple turnovers in 4 of his 8 career playoff games, man. So, like you said, to your point, man, about it being partly Lamar not playing great. That's true, man. He has, 4 in 4 games with multiple turnovers in the playoffs, man. You can't win like that. Now, I don't want to sit here and trash talk Lamar. I'm not going to turn that into this, but
yeah, I'm not going to trash talk him, but that's how he was in college too, I guess, man. At Louisville, he would have big moments, but his book is still being written, man. He's gonna have a great
for
career.
Sure.
He's a great player.
For sure, absolutely. Let's turn over though a little bit to the Buffalo offense, man. I mean, they had 147 rushing yards, which is the most the Ravens have allowed in a game all season, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
Although they only averaged 2.96 yards.
I'll be right back.
Per carry, man. Okay, go ahead. Chucky's off to use the toilet. Go ahead, Tommy. Got anything you want to add here, man? But Buffalo's offense, what did you think about the way they attacked? I mean, Allen coming out only... Real quick, I'll mention, and to lead into it, they said that... one of the reasons that Lamar maybe threw that interception was they were kind of throwing a little too much. I mean, really, why didn't they run Henry a little more? They saw how much it worked in the third quarter when they pretty much just stormed down the field for 7 points. So, and one person said, I heard that, the idea being that Lamar, they kind of get in their head of, this built up as this Jackson versus Allen game. So they're going to have, it's almost like Jackson was trying to go out there to prove that he can throw it too. And throwing unnecessarily, which he can, obviously. I mean, that end drive at the end of the game that he had, that touchdown pass was very good. He had all the time in the world. You give a lot of that credit to the line, but yeah, Allen, I think, threw 7 passes in the entire first half. So Well, do you think that? I mean, the run game. What'd you think of it, man? And yeah, is there anything else you want to add about the Bills' offense? Take it away, Tommy.
Okay. Well, what you're saying sounds a lot like what I heard others comment and after the game last night and today. And the thing is, and all I'm going to say is, they're not giving the credit to the Buffalo Bills offense. The reason the Buffalo Bills ran for 147 yards, all right, and 2 rushing touchdowns by their quarterback was the fact that they overpowered the big bad wolf. They overpowered them. They took control of that game in the first half. And that is why Baltimore didn't rely on the run. Our defense stopped Henry. He wasn't getting anywhere in the first half. Mm-hmm. So they figured, what's going to change that? What's going to change that? What's all of a sudden they're going to stop stopping the run? No, they're not. We're going to have to go to the passing game, which they did. All right. They couldn't go to the passing game in the first half. They couldn't go to it. They were trying to develop the run, and their run was getting snuffed. Yeah. And when he did try to go to the pass, he was under pressure, and he screwed up. There was a reason he made the mistakes, and it isn't because that's Lamar. No, that isn't because that's Lamar. It's because Lamar was under the pressure.
Right.
And they kept saying that Allen can't handle pressure. I think it was Lamar who couldn't handle the pressure. But anyway,
but listen, we were just discussing that.
Put that aside.
Just discussing that, and I'm trying to flip it to the offense, man. So
yeah,
Bills offense.
And that's where I'm going now.
Yeah, go ahead.
So look what Cook was doing. 100 yards, or he had 67 yards. He had 67 yards rushing. That was Cook alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
was that
Trey Johnson?
So Cook had 67 yards. Yeah.
Okay, altogether they had 147 yards rushing. All right, so they were they outplayed Baltimore's defense as far as the running game went. Okay, why didn't Allen throw so much? Because he didn't have to throw. Their intentions were keep the Ravens offense off
the Ravens. The Ravens had more rushing yards than the Bills, man.
Well, yeah.
By the end of the game,
in the second half, and from the third quarter on, they built up their running game. But it was too late by then. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, they came back and almost tied the game close to the very end. But the thing was, the Bills had that comfortable lead. They were up by, what, 14?
No, 11. But
okay, 11. They were up by 11 at the end of the first half. You know, they had that, and that made a whole different outlook on how Baltimore was going to play that second half. And the Bills' defense played the way they usually played. They went to that bend, don't break, and they had a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Tommy. So, 100%. The first half, they were focusing. They put all their horses on Henry, man. And then once they got that lead to that point, Tommy, in the second half, they shifted back to their normal. You know, you mentioned it as like a rope-a-dope, but yeah, it's a bend, don't break, man. 2 high safeties, take away the big ball. I actually didn't want them to do that, though. I wanted them to stick on Henry,
I wanted them to keep the pressure.
I wanted them to stay on Henry, man, and let Lamar throw it. Because when, Lamar made some big plays, man, but I think if you take away Henry, right, and you rush Lamar in a way where it keeps him contained, and you make him throw the ball, I think you make that team one-dimensional, and that's how you beat the team. That was their strategy, man. It won. I don't think they should have went back to the bend, don't break. But hey, it still won. Still won the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you.
The only other part that I didn't agree with, although it didn't matter at that point, was Ty Johnson on that very last play of his, when he broke open along the sideline and he slid down.
That was the smart move.
yeah, it's a smart move because that gave them the first down. Baltimore couldn't control the clock,
Yeah.
and all they had to do was run out the time. And it showed class that, like, okay, we're not going to pile on the points. But
Well,
I think he could have made it all the way to the end zone, and I would have
don't
loved
know.
to see Buffalo put up a 30.
Maybe
Put up
on your
another 30, man.
maybe from your vantage point on the couch, but it looked like some of those defenders had the angle on him there, man. He would have been getting knocked out of bounds if anything else. I
Well,
don't know.
he still would have been closer.
Yeah, it would have stopped the clock.
But-
I don't know. But,
But,
yeah.
but I get it. I understand why he did it, and I'm okay with it. They won the game, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain. You know?
I gotta say, man, I feel like with the team being underestimated, I mean, to be underdogs at home, that's almost. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's ever a guaranteed win, but I mean, it's incredible that the Bills were underdogs at home with this game. But it's just been, and the way they're talked about, man, the whole team, everybody's Josh Allen's gonna have to be Superman, and dude, this iteration of the Bills, man, this team right now this year. I mean, I know I'm a homer, and you can go into all that, man, but I just feel like almost damn near every damn player on that squad is an all-pro, man, in my opinion. It's just a stud, man. There's so many of them, man. When you watch, like, just the defense alone, looking at that, they get so underestimated, underrated, and not discussed. But, I mean, just look at every play is always, I mean, Damar Hamlin sucks. You heard that so much that he's only on the team because he almost died and all this stuff. What's Damar Hamlin doing? Oh, he's just over there tripping up Henry, saving touchdowns. I mean,
forcing Lamar to fumble. Yeah. All right. So
exactly.
On that note, what was the play of the game?
Yeah. I'll take real quick because I got my opinion. We talked about this last night, Chucky, but mine is the Terrell Bernard, just because it was the fourth quarter. That strip and recovery, you can't coach that any better, man. You can't. That is just instinct, man. That is just so well played. Now there's a little bit of luck involved when you punch out the ball and it falls close enough to you to recover it, but just what a hell of a play. And to me, that was a big shift in the game. Now, I know the Ravens had a drive after that almost got scary, but I'd say that play. But if you guys want to argue it, go ahead.
Tommy, what was your play of the game?
Actually, mine is multiple, but I put it in one phrase.
You got to choose one, man.
The way the defense set the tone right from the beginning.
A play, though, Coach. Come on.
Okay. Forcing Lamar to overthrow his man and putting him into a punt situation in the first set of downs. No, wait a minute. They scored in the beginning. That's right, they did. They scored just like Denver did. They went in and they scored. They scored a touchdown on their first drive.
They did.
That's right.
Just
You're
one,
calling the interception the play of the game?
one play of the game.
The play of the game for me, I have to say it was that fumble. Where
Bernard
I would have liked to seen Von make it all the way to the end zone, but that fumble, I think that was the one that did it actually.
So that's my answer too, man. When Von picked it up and ran 30, 40 yards, I think that changed the game, man. Because I think at that point, was it tied? I think it was tied, man. I think the Ravens could have taken the lead on that drive, man.
It was never fumble. It was never tied. I think it was 14-10.
No, it was tied 7-7, man. We talking about.
Oh, 7-7.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. It was 7-7, right? But I think it was 14-10 when that fumble happened.
Regardless, man, I think that changed the momentum of the game, man. There was a big play,
that was a
big
momentum
energy,
swing, for sure.
And I think that's when it got into Lamar's head, man. He's like, man, I messed up. He was pacing around the sideline. I think that's what changed the game, man. Mm-hmm. That was the play of the game. Okay, because it got in Lamar's head, and he was playing shook up after that, man. So credit to Hamlin, credit to Von. Great play, man.
But I could argue though too that my call of the play of the game being Terrell Bernard's strip and recovery was what got into Mark Andrews' head a little bit and could be a part of the reason he dropped the catch for the 2 points at the end. could have been a game saver right there as well. So, you know,
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
With the bomb,
but
the
who,
only reason
who
why
who has more power in winning the game, though? Andrews or Lamar, man?
I know.
I think
Yeah.
it took away Lamar.
Yeah, I hear you.
Took his head out of the game, man. Got him nervous.
Sure, I hear you. The only reason I would push back on that one, or I just lean a little bit away from that one being the play of the game, is because I'm thinking of like a play of the game of a play that the Bills made, and I put that one, even though it definitely a momentum swing, definitely did get into Lamar's head and helped out tremendously for the win overall. I chalked that play up primarily to a miscue at first, because I mean that was a high snap.
I'll chalk it up to
bobbled
Bills
and off
Mafia,
step.
baby. I'll chalk that up to the crowd getting loud.
There you go.
The city of losers, right? Yeah, man.
That's right.
You know?
Did McDermott address that in the post conference too? He was pretty adamant, man.
Oh, he was. Yeah, and he turned around and said, and that's what you can tell the person who said that.
Yeah.
That's how he ended it. Yeah, he said, this is a great city. Because I've only been here 8 years, but it's a great city.
Imagine the kind of the I don't know what to call it, but the whatever you want to call it, the words jumping out of my head, but just for McDermott to get so much shit from the fan base and be told so much so often, I mean, because he does make his mistakes and has failed in big spots before, but to hear from half a fan base that you want to be gone, and yet he still loves the city so much, and to kind of show that passion like that, I mean,
But a fair weather friends say things like that.
Oh, man. I understand the criticisms 100%.
Yeah, no, getting back to Lamar real quick, and I didn't know it last night, but I read it today and found it today. After the game, when Lamar and Josh, shook hands and good game and all that, blah, 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 real quick. I didn't know, but Lamar had told Josh at that time, take the MVP and take the Lombardi.
Yeah.
And so that's encouraging
yeah.
words from the guy that you just beat, and he recognized it, and it's just the same thing with Josh Allen. When they asked him, what made the difference, he said, the difference was we heard everybody saying we're not good enough. We don't have any players. We don't have this. We don't have that. Right? Well, this is what we do as a team. There's your answer.
I hear you, and Tommy, that's the perfect segue too, man. Because I feel like Lamar and Josh embrace and said he would say something like that, because I feel just as much as Bills Mafia, just as much as Allen and the Bills, Lamar probably has no interest in watching Mahomes hoist another trophy, and that brings us right to. That brings us right to next week, man. If you guys want to, I'll leave it up to you guys. But do you want to jump in and start previewing next week, man, or you want to anything else you want to say about the match last night, man? Before we move on,
jump into next week.
We can go with that.
Are you ready for it?
One more quick thing, though. One more quick thing, man.
Yeah, get at it, Chucky.
Tyler Bass, man. This guy struggled all year. He had a tough year, man. His confidence was shook. Man. McDermott put all the trust in the world in this guy, man. 51-yarder in a playoff against the wind. McDermott said, "Hey, man, this is all you. I believe in you." And Bass had a good day. Yeah. Man. So I just want to give a quick cheers to Tyler Bass. That's my brother. Oh
yeah, man.
I, unlike you two, trusted him all year. The two of you were calling for his head.
How fast the wind blows to the other side. The taste of turn.
I've liked Bass for several years here. I've had shaky confidence in him from the start, and it was definitely great to see him not miss a.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention who said not to worry about him.
No. We both did.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy said, "Don't ever worry about him." Will, Billy, you and I, we were worried, but we still said, "Do not let go of this guy. Stick with him, man. He's struggling." We both said that, Tommy. I don't know if you remember that, man.
For sure.
But even though me and Will were doubting him, we still said, "Hey, man, encourage this guy. Keep with him. Let's go."
Yeah, and even though he's had a couple misses since, I feel like that game winner against Miami during your wedding and stuff, when I was on the plane, I had to watch that play. I think that was a big confidence just changed. He's been a lot different since then, and I've had a little more confidence since that game.
The 57-yarder.
Yeah, I've had a little more confidence in myself.
I remember it clearly.
That was Miami?
Yeah.
It was Miami.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was the Miami game, the day after you got married, man.
Yeah. And I think that changed the opinion on a lot of the home crowd people that were there. A lot of people were sweating about him. You know, they kept bringing in these other players. McDermott said that, he didn't come out and say it at that time, but he did say it later on in the season. He trying to say, well, sometimes it helps refocus the player. Get them back into their game. And then yesterday he turned around and said, he goes, it was him. He told me he had the confidence. He goes, it's different. It's if I'm telling him I have confidence in you.
Right.
He goes, but he said, I had the confidence, coach.
Exactly.
So I wasn't worried about it.
Exactly.
He wasn't worried about it. Like, okay, play your game.
Exactly. Great mention, Chucky, to bring in there, because special teams did play well as well, man. And as a team reaches the fundamentals, man, all three phases. And Lord knows that's what it's going to take next week, man. It's going to take all three phases, man. Sound fundamentals.
Okay, now we can slide into next week's game.
You got it, man. What do you guys think, man? How do you feel about it? Going into Arrowhead. What's this, four times in the postseason now,
Yes. Okay. All I can say is, and I'm not going to be one of these guys that cry about the officiating, although everybody knows good hits and bad hits, good calls, bad calls. We all know them. All right. We've seen enough and we've had enough explained to us that we basically understand what's going on in a good and a bad call. Okay? So I'm not going to put that. What I'm going to say is I believe the Bills' offensive line is better than Houston's. And they're not, the Kansas City's offense isn't going to get to Allen or snuff up the run as much as they did against Houston. They're not going to get to Allen like they were able to get to Stroud. And they have a good defense. Don't get me wrong. And they have good defensive coaching. But I think Buffalo's going to be focused enough to handle that on the offense. And as far as our defense goes, they're healthy for the most part.
Well, yeah, we got to find out how Rapp's doing, but yeah.
Yeah, I said for the most part. I was considering Rapp. He
Cole
went out
Bishop
with
came in and played well for him though yesterday, man. I saw him.
Yeah.
I don't know what his final stats were, but he recorded a couple good tackles.
Johnson,
I think the thing is,
yeah, his shoulder. I forgot. Right, it's
right.
I haven't heard
But
about
he
him
came
yet.
back in.
Yeah, he did. Right.
He did come back in. Yes.
Yeah.
But
he could have tweaked something, man.
Yeah. He could have to wait till the reports come out. Yeah.
Right. So, what was I going to say?
He's an important
as far
piece
as
too,
Bishop
man,
goes.
We'll get him back.
Bishop played in week 4, and you didn't hear him as much as you did yesterday
He's
or
a
see
rookie.
him doing, right?
Yeah.
But the biggest difference is when Bishop in week 4 was playing, there was also 3 other second stringers playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Milano
So
was
when
out.
he
A lot of people. Yeah.
Right. So when he came in to play yesterday, all right, he was surrounded by all the first stringers, and that there has to give you more confidence and stuff, because now you're feeling like I'm just about equal with these guys. I'm not going to let them down,
Right,
and it's like a little fire in his ass,
Yeah.
And
Chucky.
he did a good job. But Brett, yes, he did. And,
Chuck, what are you thinking about next week, man?
Honestly, man, because it's in Kansas City, I think that it could go either way, man. I'm picking the Bills, but that home field advantage and that bye week that they had, man, they're rested, they're recovered, they're healthy. I do think of everyone in the league, though, the Bills are the best team designed to beat the Chiefs, man. So I'm picking them to win, man. I'll say it's a close game, though. It's going to be very similar to this Ravens game, man. I think it comes down to like a field goal at the end. So we'll see, man. I think Josh is. I think they're going to take a very different strategy, though, man. I don't think they're going to be as conservative as they were with the Ravens, man. I think they're gonna take their shots much more than they did.
Air it out a little more
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we didn't see much. I mean, there was no real Amari Cooper or Coleman. I mean, Coleman had that one real quick slant that was a great play design, by the way. You know, perfect time to call that real fast
he
slant.
did try to go to Amari one time, but Amari
he was
slipped.
a little wide of him. Amari
slipped.
Yeah,
he slipped. Amari slipped, and the ball went a little wide in front of him.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, but it wasn't a big passing game.
I'll
I'll agree with Dr. Calzone there, and I'd say, yeah, I think that there will be a little more of an air show next week. Although, listen, the weather's going to depend, too. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Kansas City.
It looks
it's
like
damn cold
30
there,
degrees
though, too, so.
From what I saw. I looked already. 30 degrees.
Yeah, I'm not and clear right now, they're calling
it says, right now it says clear.
Okay.
As
long as it's clear, I think you'll see a big passing game. Well, I mean, that doesn't... I shouldn't say that. I should just shut the hell up because, I mean, come on. Look at that, like that Niners game, man. I mean, Allen throws sometimes into the snow like it's not even there. It's incredible. So, yeah. So my opinion, though, with that, man, is... I mean, the Chiefs, as beatable as they looked all season long, we can all go. They're a completely different animal in the postseason, and they're built for it. And this is when they, I mean, their show that they put on against the Texans. The Texans played a good game, man. At first, it was pretty close, and it looked like they could actually surprise people. But I think the Bills are a much better team than Houston. Even though we lost to them in the regular season, that was also a different Bills team, same team that lost to the Ravens. So, I think it comes down to we gotta. I mean, the only thing I don't want to see, I'll say, is Travis Kelce taking off, leaving him wide open in the middle of space to give. Because even when he catches the ball now, he looks old and lumbering. He kind of, but still, he's a big guy. He's a reliable as they come, and he catches, and he's. I mean, you gotta watch him. As you know, I would hate to see the defense just kind of think like, oh, we can kind of. He's getting up there. He hasn't been as nearly as productive as years past. I don't think they will, but I think you game plan a lot for their tight ends because Noah Gray, too. As you said, at the last time he played the Chiefs, I remember, Tommy, you're like, well, when was the last time? When have you ever heard his name? And I told you, I hear Noah Gray's name every damn time we play this team. He's catching touchdowns. So, like, but Kelce gets so much focus that they overlook him. Like, I'll shoot this back to the Ravens game a little bit as well. Because, like, one thing I was really scared of going into the Ravens game was all the emphasis on Lamar Jackson, all the emphasis on Derrick Henry. Do they remember who Justice Hill is? Because that guy will take over the game, and he killed us week 4, and he's an incredible player, man. So, like, I feel like you watch Mahomes and Kelce. Oh, let's make sure Worthy doesn't go off and look like, we screwed up the draft pick or anything dumb like that, and then just forget about Noah Gray down the seam, and you know what I mean, and there you go. Or in the corner of the end zone where he always seems to find them. So, yeah, I worry a little bit about that. But I think you take away the tight ends, you play your sound defensive game that they usually do, and I think we can come away with the win. I've been calling most predictions this year. I've said 34-17 Bills, I'm going to say the same prediction, 34-17 Bills over Chiefs. But, that's just almost a superstition at this point with me to make that pick because it's worked out for me, at least in the W column. But I think it's going to be a little closer than that, and this game could go either way. The big factor that scares me is it being an Arrowhead. Same time, we've won there regular season plenty of times. Do you think home field advantage is a big swing for Kansas? Or do you think it's not really the main factor that you're worried about, more just Mahomes doing Mahomes thing?
I say it all the time. It's not Arrowhead anymore, though. It's GEHA Stadium. It's no longer Arrowhead. I think they still call it.
Is it?
Still call it that, but it's GEHA Stadium. I think you're crazy, man. If you're picking a 14-point game win difference, like that's crazy, man. Not against this team. 31-17. You're nuts, man. It's going to be more like 34-31, 34-30. You know, it's coming down to a one-possession game, man. I think you're nuts.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. I'm calling 31-17. But I've done that with it's been a similar pick every game. I don't want to say a different.
I'll say more like 20, 29, 27. That's what I'm saying, man.
That's a fun prediction. I don't think I've heard not many people predicting 29s, but I like it.
Three field goals,
Tommy,
3 touchdowns.
Who wins next week, man?
Well, I
Who
believe
wins next week?
I believe the first time they played, I just said the Bills will win. I don't think I gave them a specific number.
You don't have to.
Which I usually don't do. Although I had said certain things, like in yesterday's game, I said they were going to be dominating. You know, I called it domineering, but it's that was on purpose. But they dominated in the first half. I don't care what anybody tells me. There was a reason why they led by 11, and it was because they outplayed Baltimore. It wasn't because of Baltimore's mistakes. And
you think we jump out fast next week?
Mistakes. But I believe that they're going to take Kansas City down, and the reason they're going to take them down is because Buffalo has this boulder on their shoulder. Nobody's giving them a prayer against Kansas City. I
like the soundbite, Chucky. Thanks.
They barely gave them any kind of credit against Baltimore. In fact, they didn't. They had Baltimore favored. So they're going to have Kansas City favored in this one. Definitely. And they're going to continuously say, Oakland's never beat them in a playoff game, you know, and they're going to keep saying this
all week.
So the offense, right along, like when Allen said, well, this is my team that nobody said was any good, and look what we did. Well, the whole offense is going to say, this is our quarterback that everybody says can't beat this guy. Well, look what he's going to do to you. And they're going to protect him. They're going to give him lanes. Allen is going to pull off that game, and I say it's going to be right around the same score as it was when they played in Buffalo. Buffalo beat them by 9. I have to say that Buffalo will take them down between 8 to 10. There'll be 8 to 10 point difference. You know? Okay. I really do. Right. I really think that's what's going to happen. And it's going to happen because they're tired of being told they can't beat this guy. Just like they were tired of being told they couldn't keep up with Baltimore.
Hot-winded answer, man.
Yeah, I know. But hey,
jeez,
long-winded.
Is that what's going through your nose, man? Is a bunch of hot air?
Yeah.
It's going in your nose, man. Out your mouth, man.
As I told Willie a couple of weeks ago, that's the writer's curse. If we're not writing it down, we got to let it out somehow.
Yeah, there you go.
It's probably coming out your rear end.
Coming out rats. That's where it's coming out. Yeah.
I'm enjoying the hell out of this podcast, man. This episode, I'm enjoying that. I'm in love with every second of it.
Just before we close out here.
Oh, come on, man. You just went on a rant. What else do you want to say here?
No. I know. I'm asking you guys a question. I want your opinion. Just before we close out, you tell me now, does Washington have what it takes to take down the Eagles?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. I was going to say, hypothetically, we move on next week. Who would you rather face, or what do you think the game's going to be like between the Eagles and the Commanders? I almost slipped up there and had to edit out the podcast. I almost called them by the wrong name.
I would rather play Washington because Philly's defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Best in the league, man. I'll take a rookie quarterback in
the
big game
have any
against McDermott. Yeah, I'll take
Hey,
Washington.
Kristen, isn't that what you said about Baltimore, Chris? That they were the better team on paper? They had the better qualified team. They were going to run all over Buffalo? What makes you think that Philadelphia is going to beat Buffalo? Remember the last time we played them?
Barkley's scary, man.
Yes.
I'm not going to say he's not.
But the last time we played we played Washington or Eagles, who did they have as their running back?
I don't remember. They didn't have Saquon.
No. He now plays for Detroit. Gibbs.
Demir Gibbs?
Yeah. And he was running all over the league.
Wasn't Demir Gibbs drafted by Detroit?
He never played for
No.
Philly. What are you talking about, man? Edit this part out of the podcast. He never played for Philly, man. What are you talking about?
I'll throw some comedy in there. It's a
I
comedy
thought it
show.
was Gibbs. I thought it was Gibbs that played for
No,
them.
man.
No, Demir Gibbs was drafted by Detroit 2 years ago.
Well, who the heck am I thinking of?
No, man.
I
think
might
got
edit out because I can't.
I think you got some nitrous.
Oh,
think
no.
I think Sharon switched some nitrous in your tank.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going up your nose.
No,
What's your wife slipping into that oxygen there? Yeah?
no.
What's in that little jar? What's in that little glass?
But the guy they had was a good Swift. They had
DeAndre
Swift.
Swift. That's right. It was Swift.
They had Swift, and the Bills
Swift
shut
isn't
them down.
Barkley, man.
The Bills shut them down. The Bills would have won that game.
All right,
I'm
this
just
is
saying.
off the rails, man.
I don't want to go over that game, man. I remember that. I think the Bills would have won that game if that fumble recovery in overtime was called a fumble instead of an incomplete pass. The Bills would have won that
Listen,
game. But let's not go over
back
that
on the
Eagles game from a year ago.
All
Get
right,
back on the road here, man. We're in the ditch.
yeah, we are. We're right back to the road now. You guys are saying you'd rather see him play Washington. You guys are saying you'd rather see him play Washington.
Well, we moved to Philly, Washington. Who do you think wins between Philly and Washington? Let's just do that, man. Who do you think we would face if we even got past it? So let's not worry. Let's not.
I think
jump
the
ahead
Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to pull out the upset, man.
You think they can do it?
I think this
I
kid
do
Jaden
too.
Daniels has ice in his veins.
I do too.
I think Philly
And
is
that's
somewhat of
who I
a
don't want to
fraud.
face.
Yeah.
I rather see Buffalo shut down Barkley because they shut down the other guy. They shut down the King Henry. They can shut down Barkley, but I'm not so sure about this rookie who plays like one step above where Allen was when he was a rookie.
Right. Well, I gotta go,
I
man.
mean, he's
love
putting
you
on a
guys.
hell of a show as a rookie, man. Yeah, that's all I wanted to ask you, man. We got to let you go. This has been 45 minutes. I'll do my intro and outros and try and get this up as soon as I can. Hey, boys. This was a good one, though. I was looking forward to it since last night. I almost wanted to jump on and do a live one last night, man. And maybe we'll start doing those in the future at some point once we kind of get together and really know what the hell we're doing on this thing, man. It's been a fun season so far. And this obviously hoping not to be the last episode of the DFL podcast for the season. But, man, I'm looking forward to next week. Guys, have anything else you want to say to close it out?
Bills are going to the Super Bowl, man. Let's go. Let's go, brothers.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm picking them to beat Kansas, so I figured that's where they'll be. Excuse me, they'll be Super Bowl bound.
All right, fellas.
Yeah.
Hey,
And hey,
love you guys, man.
You guys have a good
day.
week.
Yeah,
Love you,
go
boys.
Bills,
Let's
man.
go!
Let's go, man.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. That was a fun discussion, man. I mean, of course, it almost always is after a Bills win, especially an important one like last night. And, hey, Bills, primetime, Chiefs, next weekend. It's going to be a fun week leading up to this one. If you have any ideas, any thoughts of what you think the Bills need to do to take care of this one this week, go ahead and leave it in a comment. Drop it in there. Subscribe to the channel. DFL Podcast. We love doing these and bringing them to you. We are still figuring out what we're doing, getting it together. We're trying to do some different things for you, but haven't done much of that yet, I guess. But hey, like the show, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz, people. Let's go. And until next week, let's go Buffalo!